I have already drawn out the hair onto the canvas panel and given it a coat of acrylic gel medium and some raw umber to create an imprimatura or a coloured ground to paint onto. It's so much nicer than painting onto a white canvas. And then I'm just going to put in some of these relevant dark areas and lines so I don't lose them when I paint over the top with some Payne's grey. And the colours I'm using are titanium white, Payne's grey, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, raw umber, transparent orange, cadmium orange and phthalo blue. And any other colours I use, I will mention them if I use any other of the colours that are not there on the list. Okay, so still putting in these dark areas. Now I've gone to the white. I can put in these white areas now, the lightest areas. And you can see that using a coloured ground really helps here, because if I did this on a white canvas, you wouldn't see these white areas at all. So that's why you use a coloured ground, one of the reasons to use a coloured ground. So just with a bristle brush here, I'm just going to put in these light areas first, just get them knocked in quickly. Then give it a quick spray of water, mist spray of water, and then with a large brush and some burnt sienna, I'm just going to put in the basic colours of the hair. Quite loose and quite thin, that paint is. It's one of the few times I will use thin paint. And then I will start to put in the background using some Payne's grey here for the darkest areas, and this large brush. These are Meaden brushes that I'm using, oil painting brushes, but they're fantastic for painting with acrylics. I really enjoy using them. They're quite soft in relation to ordinary bristle brushes. Okay, I'm just going to put in some variety of tone here now. Give some greens in there with some yellow ochre and Payne's grey, and then a little bit of white added to the Payne's grey will give me this lovely bluey grey colour. So you can see I'm really putting these in very, very loosely, and I'm painting quite quickly. I know this is speeded up, but I do paint quite quickly anyway, and that allows me then to move the paint around. It's still wet, so with this silicone tool I can move the paint around and make this layer, which is my first messy layer, I can make that really nice and abstract. And I can actually go into that paint and take little bits out and make it very, very messy indeed, and make it look like there's abstract leaves and things in there in the background, just by the pressure of that tool. Now I've left links in the description below if you're interested in any of the tools, materials that I use. And if you do use those links, then you will be supporting me and my channel, and that helps me to keep bringing you these videos. And I want to thank every and each one of you who do that, because you really do help me to keep going. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, back to the painting. I'm putting in some of the dark tones now with this bristle brush. It's a flat bristle brush, but it's getting a little bit slightly worn now, which is great. And while the paint's wet, I just sign my name into the bottom right hand corner. Scratch my signature into the paint. Into the wet paint, I should say. And then carry on putting these darks in. So this is really still the first layer, the first stage, which is, again, I say, my messy stage. I like to do this as messy as possible, the first layer, because when that's dried and I paint over the top, it really helps to create interest in the underlying layers. So little grey tone there with the Payne's grey and white, and then just adding a little bit more white to it to create this bluey grey tone. Like that. And because I'm painting quickly, I can blend with it as well. I don't want to do too much blending though, because this is Impressionist style painting. The overall style of the background is going to be abstract. Okay, now I'm just going to dry that off completely, because that's the first messy stage finished. And now I'm on to the second stage, so I can now give it a little spray of water and then go over the background again with the similar colours, not the same, but very close. But it creates variety then when I go over the top of that messy first layer. And I'll use the silicone tool once again to really mess that up as well and smooth it around. But it won't be quite as messy this time, it'll be a bit more subtle. But I want this background, as I was saying, to be abstract, and the hair to be a little bit abstract but more impressionistic, and then with a little bit of detail in the eye, the nose and the mouth, because that's where I want the attention to be. That's where I want the viewer to concentrate their gaze. And you do that by several methods. You can either use detail or hard edges. If you use soft edges, that directs the eye away from that area to those detailed areas or the hard edged areas. So most of the rest of the hair, apart from the ears perhaps, will be soft edged, where I blend it into the background. And there's ways of doing that. I tend to use my fingers a lot when I'm blending. But you can also do it with colour. And if the paint's wet, you can just move it around as I do. So I'm going to get some greens now. And some light brown colours. A little bit more muted. Not quite as bright as the cadmium orange there and burnt sienna. And it just mutes the vibrancy of those colours down a little bit, which is what I wanted. And then some bluey greys for where the lighter areas of the fur are in the animal. Like that. Put one or two elsewhere. There's similar colours to the background that I'm putting into the hair. And vice versa, I'll put some of the hair colours into the background. And that creates the colour harmony. Okay, so I'll just put some of these brighter oranges in now into the ear, because that's where I want the light to be really shining through. And then I'll perhaps mute a few of those colours down a little bit bright there. Would stand out and be too garish. So I've just muted it down a little bit. And I'm adding little bits all the time by little dabs of paint. I'm being quite bold with these brush strokes. And I'm not being too finicky. I'm not using little brushes to try and get little bits of detail here and there. I mean, I use my fingers a lot like that to actually move the paint around. Get messy with it. Get tactile. Feel the paint. In fact, it's great if you can. I encourage you to get your fingers involved with this. It's really nice to use your fingers to paint with. You do get to know your paint that way. Okay, a few little variations of colour in the face there, and I'll do a few others in the body. And each time I'm building up those layers. Those layers are building one on top of another each time, which is how to paint with acrylics. Paint in layers and you won't go far wrong. I'm doing all this with quite a large brush. You see, I can do edges and sharp edges even with a large brush like this. It'll look a lot more natural than trying to use a small brush to do all that. Put those lights in once again. Little dabs of light here and there. And now some greens, and I'll put in some impressions of foliage. Just impressions. I'm not trying to paint every leaf in its entire detail. I'm just giving the impression that there may be foliage there that the hair is sitting in and that you're looking through to the hair in the midst of it. I'll add one or two of those colours elsewhere in the painting as well. Perhaps one or two towards the darker areas. Now with the light, I'll just put some lighter colours in. I don't use pure white. I always add something to the pure white. In this case, there's a tiny bit of yellow ochre, and it just creates this little warm hint to the colour. If I just used white, it would look very white and chalky white and hard, cold white. So add something to the white always. You can add little bits of pure white later on as little highlights, but that's towards the end. Okay, a few little darker areas now, little areas of or leaves in shade in the shadow areas. A few more green leaves. Adding to it all the time, remember, building up in layers. And I'll do the same with the fur of the animal here, building it up layer by layer, bit by bit, until I'm happy with it. Okay, now I need to get the eye to look a little bit more realistic. So I've gone on to a finer pointed bristle brush. I'll just put in this light bit there, but I'll also put some lights into the eye now. This is where I'm going to use the detail. Put the darks back in, make sure I've got the shape of the eye correct. And it's not a fine brush, this, but it's fine enough. It saves me from going down to a tiny little paintbrush. And this is a bristle brush, so it's not particularly fine pointed, but it does the job. Okay, I'll just get a little bit of light grey for the highlight in the eye there. I'll put some highlights in the ears and also put them back into the eyes in a moment. I'll just put some little dots in like that, pure white, and they come alive instantly. Put those highlights once again back into those really bright areas, because they will sink in as they dry, so you need to go over them 3 or 4 times before they stay nice and bright. Okay. Once again, going over the brights, little bit at a time, using pure paint now from the pot. And now I'm using a splatter technique, using the colours that I've just been painting with, using some lighter colours as well, like that, then some pure white, just a little bit of that, and then I can add a few little dots and dashes and marks and make it look like there's little bits of grasses here and there, impressions of grasses. Note, I'm not trying to paint every individual blade of grass here or leaf. I'm giving the impression, making the viewer and the viewer's eye do the work. Let them create the detail, because they will in their own mind. They create the detail. You only want the detail where you want the viewer to concentrate their gaze, which in my case is the eye and the nose and mouth, basically the face area. Okay, now a quick spray of water, and then I can use my thin liner brush to put in the whiskers. So that mist spray of water dampens the canvas and allows the paint to fall off the brush so much easier. You find it very difficult if you were trying to put these fine long lines on a dry canvas. You would struggle. So dampen the canvas first. So I'll put a few other straggly little hairs and some little details here and there. I'll put some whiskers on this side, but not as bright because they're in shadow. Like that. A few more bright ones on that side. Like that. And then a few little darker areas with this larger brush, and moving the paint with my finger, blending it with my finger, basically go over the entire painting until I'm happy with it. And when I am, then that's the painting finished. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video. So until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!